WFG went all out for you on this place, you know. Jeez, Louise. How y'all doing? Hey, lots been said. This has been, you know, I've been to a lot of conventions. Most years I end up leaving thinking that was the best, but this was the best one I've been to. And at the end, I'll tell you about what could happen for this group too. But let me just start out by saying very quickly that I've said this before, but it's just always worth repeating because when I watch it, it's true. If my son or daughter were to get into the business, okay, today, there are two teams that I would refer them to. But if it were in order of where I would refer them, I would refer my children first to Sean and Jamie to be in their order. Over the years, it used to be just because of them. Because, you know, they obviously have a great family, life, faith balance. They're wonderful people. Their talents combined are extraordinary. They both have different giftedness and blessings that they both bring to the table. And that with the events they run and all the stuff they do. But frankly, another half of it or so now would be all of you guys. Just the environment you all create. The leaders in the room between the Lagatudas and Coleman, and what Wes is doing, and, you know, Rusty, and all you guys. You should never start naming names. But the environment here would be the environment I want my kids raised in. Mauricio, you two, all these guys. And so all of them, it would be the place I would refer my family. And it's true, that's hard because I have family in the business. And that would be the second place I'd refer them because there would be divorces and lawsuits. But hey, what I want to do, because I don't have a ton of time, and this is my 6th of 11 talks today, after yesterday. By the way, there's, someone was just telling me when they drive over from WFG, there's 6,400 hashtag Ray Rays on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I post some stuff here and there. But I got 230,000 followers on Twitter. And probably like 210,000 of them have seen me speak somewhere other than WFG, right? So what's a trip is they're all, because I'm getting all these messages with my name and Ray Ray, so all these other people are like, who the hell is Ray Ray? You know, I still don't know why there's a big relevance to the age disparity. I don't know. That's the bottom line. Right? I don't get that. I told this story twice. This time I told the truth about the ages. So, all right, I don't have a lot of time. I do want to say a few things to you. All of you have, it's been real noisy here, hasn't it? Yeah. Especially for you all. It's like, yeah, big meetings, we're screaming, we all got to wear the same shirt, and then, you know, Sean's up there in a robot, and you got all these meetings and awards, and then late nights, and then we got a meeting at someone's suite, all right, we meet for breakfast, and we got to go over to this other dive hotel to do our team meeting, and we got all this, right, no, for real, we got all this stuff, they're driving over here, I'm like holding on to my wallet, I'm like, which is going to lead to the end, which is going to be cool for you two guys, especially what I'm going to tell you at the end, that you don't even know about. And I don't even know that Rich knows about yet, but he's listening to it. He's going to be excited. So is Rich been here already this morning? Either was or he wasn't. He was here, didn't speak, and left. Awesome. That's cool. He's fired up about that. So that's my mentor right there. So anyway, it's been noisy is my point. It's been very noisy, right? Okay. Usually, great decisions aren't made in noise. They're made in solitude. If you pray, they're made in prayer. Or if you don't pray, they're at least made in a quiet place where you can talk to yourself, or your spouse, your sweetie, right? So the reason I say that to you is I make a lot of mistakes in the business. I've made more than probably most people have made in the business. But what I've not made the error of is if I was going to spend a bunch of money that I didn't have to come to a place I didn't really need to be, that not even the whole family's excited I'm here to be at, and I'm going to go to all the time, all the energy, all the money, all the sleep deprivation, all that stuff to be here. I don't leave these events the same guy I came in, ever. And it's happened to me already here. I've already had some conversations with my wife, and last night by myself, about some stuff I want to shift and change. Don't leave here without affording yourself 20 minutes of quiet. Somewhere. I don't care if you have to go back to a dumpster in the parking lot or something. I'm dead serious. Go somewhere and just talk to yourself or talk to the Lord, however you do it, for 20 minutes. Just make a couple of those decisions that you know you need to make. Frankly, the excitement, the rah-rah, the lack of food, the lack of sleep, that deprivation is actually good. It's actually a healthy environment to help you make good quality decisions. Believe it or not, it is. It strips away all your emotions from it. You just decide. So please do that. Will you do that for me? Say yes. Yes. Okay. A couple things you need to know. Each of you bring a deficiency in here with you that you're aware of. Whether it's your spouse isn't supportive, or you're introverted, or you don't have a big market, or you blow through your market, or whatever it is. You're not good at the strips, you haven't learned how to close sales, which, by the way, whoever said yesterday you don't have to learn to overcome objections hasn't recruited anybody in 20 years. Okay? Let me tell you right now, how many of you have to overcome an objection or two when you recruit or sell somebody? Absolutely you do. That's insane. So, of course you do. So, but I got to tell you, just so you know mine, okay? Mine, and people always snicker when I say it, but then the people that know me know this is true. My biggest weakness is my shyness. Does that surprise you? Yeah. Okay, I'm the most shy person in this room. Bet you. And I put it up against any of you. And it's a deficiency of mine. It's a serious one. Let me give you an example. Here I am speaking in front of 25,000 people, doing meetings. I've probably spoken in front of 1 million people, counting all my outside speaking in the last, I don't know, maybe that's not right, I don't know, 10 years probably. Okay? But I'm so introverted, I can't go out and eat when I'm here at these meetings, I can't eat, right? So I get room service a lot. The one time a day I get to eat. And when I eat, so we've had room service come 6 times to our room. All 6 times I've made Christiana greet the room service person. I hide in the room. That's how introverted I am. If I'm at a high school, I've never been to a high school reunion, and I'd like to go. They've kind of heard what's happened to me, right? Never gone. Never gone. Pleasant conversations, never gone. I'm the most introverted person. People that meet me one-on-one are shocked by kind of how meek and quiet and shy I am. At WFG events, I'm the first guy to leave, last guy to get there if I can help it. I'm just shy. If I see you, I know you from high school. If I see you in the mall, I'll hide in the store till you walk by. I'll avoid good friends of mine sometimes, just to not have to have the interaction. It's crazy. I'm that introverted. What makes it worse is my wife's shy, too. She's not quite as shy as I am, but we're both that way. It's probably why we were magnetized to each other as kids. It's because we were real little when we met. We're both the shy kids. So that's my deficiency. And I got to work on that. I got to get better at it. It hurts me back from having a longer-term relationship. It hurts me from building a bigger business. So that's my deficiency. But whatever yours is, you can overcome it, because I've overcome that. In a business where you got to meet and talk to people and your deficiency is you're shy, that sucks, right? But I've been able to overcome that. You can overcome it. So, you remember a guy named Casey Kasem? Yes. I can't believe how many people, I've said this to a couple of groups, you know who that is. That blows my mind. He hosted American Top 40 when I was a kid. And at the end of his deal, he used to whisper. I don't know if you remember what he would say. He would say at the end of the broadcast, he'd go, reaching for the stars. That's how he would say it. It was a really weird voice, right? I remember this dude was so weird. But I loved his little voice. But that's absolutely true. This whole meeting's been all about the stars. We gotta get our feet on the ground and go to work. Does it work? Yeah. We gotta get our feet on the ground and go to work. So I want to talk to you about what I think things need to happen for you. I want to recommend to you that you want a 90-day crazy cycle. A 90-day absolutely nuts, do stuff more in 90 days than you've done in the last year type activity. I've done it 3 times in my career. My business has never been the same. Sunny Wayne spoke to the SMDs. She said she had gone down to $30,000 in cash flow. She went on a 90-day mad woman cycle. 4 years later, she's making $850. And she's about to drop off some small money. She's about to go over $1 million in 4 years. You imagine that, from 0 to $1 million basically in 4 years. And she had been in the business for about 8 years prior to that. Is that nuts? And that's because of this 90-day. You got to condense. Eventually, you got to go to work. Eventually, it's not all pop gum and bubble gum and clouds here, right? It's not all roses. Eventually, you got to go to work. And what that would do is, over the next 90 days, if you do more calls, see more people, prospect more people, get more people to meetings, do all that stuff, it's not what happens in the 90 days. Listen to me. It's not what happens in the 90 days. It's like the 88th day, you'll recruit somebody, invite somebody who stands you up, who's 4 weeks later, you recall again, they show up to a meeting, they flake out in a return interview, but they give you a referral, who you call, who comes to the BPM, who comes on board, who doesn't do nothing, who eventually waves at someone in a parking lot, who comes in and becomes an SMD for you. 6 months later. And you're like, wow, that 90-day cycle, I didn't get anything out of 90 days, except 6 months later, you got an SMD and your life's changed. You got to decide in 90 days to go. What do you want, a transition or a revolution in your life? You want what's what do you want? Revolutions happen quickly. Let me give you an example. You can never exceed your identity. You've heard me say that before. Your results will never exceed the way you believe, what you believe you deserve, who you believe you are, your self-esteem. True or false? True. So until you change what you believe you deserve and what you believe you're worth, you really will never get really successful at anything, or any happier or wealthier. Okay? Most people teach, I'm writing a little book on this right now. Most people teach personal development where you change your identity through what? How do you change it? I ain't gonna talk about it. What do? Associations, read books, listen to tapes, go to meetings, get around people. Does it work? Absolutely. Over time. It's like drip, 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 drip. You transition into a new association. What if you could revolutionize it? What if it could be a revolution in your identity? The way you revolutionize your identity is in a short window. You do a freakish amount of activity in a short window. And what happens is, over that time, your brain over 90 days goes, I can't believe I called this many people. I can't believe I've done this much stuff. And what happens at the end of the 90 days is your subconscious mind starts to say, I am doing all these things other people are unwilling to do. Therefore, I'm worthy and deserve things other people are unwilling to get. And that's what happens. So the 90-day madman cycle I'm recommending you, where you go crazy for 90 days, has about 40% to do with who you'd actually recruit and the activity that would come from it, and 60% to do that you could revolutionize your identity. Because we always get what we believe we're worth, what we believe we deserve. Right now, in your life, in every area, you are getting exactly inside, whether you know it or not, what you think you deserve. What you think you're worth. That's why that video I showed yesterday is so powerful. That man gave and gave and gave. Whether he knows it or not, he knew he was worthy of a miracle. He knew he was worthy of a blessing, and he had earned it with that little boy with the veggie soup. And eventually he got paid back. You got to give and give and give, but you could revolutionize your entire life in 90 days. I've done it 3 times. Never worked that hard since. Thinking about doing it again in one particular area of my life. So how many of you would be down to do that? Okay. The second thing is, I'll pay you back if you do it. I'll pay you back. I haven't told anybody this, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to make a point. Paul announced something at the convention about the 40-60. Just so you know, about $70 million more we're going to pay you up front. So that's more full-timers. Promotions faster. Bringing home checks faster. Identities changing faster. Families changing faster. It's immeasurable what that's going to do for us. One of the 2 or 3 biggest things we've ever announced. And we had to work very hard to get that done. It was an idea a few years ago that we finally got done. Because we've been so successful, they got to do what we said. You know, Western decided to do it first, went to every other product provider. They said, yes, 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 right for it. We wag the tail now, not them. It's kind of hilarious. But, I mean, literally right away, Nationwide's like, love it in 2 days. Okay, it took us 3 years in our own company, but we got you to do it in 2 days. So Paul announced something real big. After I talked yesterday, I always see all these security guards backstage. You ever seen these people being alone backstage? Just sitting there in their chairs. Exactly, that's what they're doing. You know, why are we paying all these security guards? I kind of found out yesterday. I talked and I told that story about where I met Art, and I said, it's me. And so I think about 6,000 people decided to tell me yesterday. And about 600 of them decided to tell me immediately after I finished speaking, while other speakers were on the stage. So when I went backstage, people started, literally, I turned around, the security guards were trying to get people not to come backstage, which made me feel bad. But when people come up to me, often they will say to me, how do I work with you directly? Would you mentor me personally? I'm really excited, I'm new, I've been around, well, if I could just work with you, if you just coach me, then everything would be okay. Well, I wish that were true, right? But you know the most heartbreaking thing in the world is when a nice person asks you for something from you, and you have to say no. I hate the look on their face when I have to say, I can't do that. Because then it makes it look like I think I'm something special and you're not. That's not at all what the situation is. The situation is that there's a finite amount of time, and if I give it to you, then I've cheated the people who have worked hard to earn it. So I hate rejecting people to do that. So for a while now, 4 years ago, me, Joe, and Swan went on a tour together. You talk about an odd tour, right? But it was a powerful tour. In fact, I don't know why, probably just coincidence, but you could draw a line from the end of that tour to an unbelievable move in this company. I mean, it's just incredible. And it probably is coincidence, but I'm not going to take the risk that it was. So I got together, I called Swan, I said, hey, everyone's always asking me for your time, everyone's always asking me for mine. Let's make them earn it. So Paul announced that if you'll help 6 people personally the next 90 days, you earn your right to be in a mentoring meeting with Swan, Joe, and I. And we're going to bring in Rich and Monty. We're going to bring in local leaders like Sean and Jamie as well for an all-day mentoring session. But you have to get, did you guys hear him roll that out? Yeah. That's either 6 personal recruits or 2,500 points for the client, but a total of 6. If you do that, you're going to go to a mentoring meeting all day with me. Might be a day and a half if we pull it off right. This will not be a puffery meeting where I get up and go, hey, you got to believe it. If you dream it, it can happen. You know, you got to focus. Builder's mindset. You know, dreamers build. None of that stuff. I'm talking about detailed, precise specificity for me. I'm going to go into everything I've ever done in my career that worked, and I'm going to consult with the people that are doing it now, and I'm going to train you and mentor you. Now, so you need to get in that meeting. Plus, you're going to get access to Swan, plus some of the other leaders in the company. My hallucination is that we're going to have an unbelievable growth in recruiting the next 90 days because of the campaign, and then I'm going to train up all those people so we have an explosion at the beginning of the year. I'm not stupid, okay? That's why we're going to do it. So you got to remember, I always retire in 90 days, madman focus, or mad person focus. Let me just say this to you quickly. Here's why I'm doing it. And most of you don't know this, just because I'm getting asked this all the time, so I'm just going to tell you. Sean and Jamie know. But I referenced yesterday, I had some health issues the other day. I had 2 heart attacks this year. I had one in Hawaii where we were there, and I had another minor one when we got home. And so that makes you evaluate things when you're 43 years old. And you have 2 young children and a wife you've been with since you were 5. Right? And my brother had a heart attack on last year's flight trip. My sister had a heart attack 60 days before that. My dad had cancer 4 months before that. My father-in-law died 4 months before that. Interesting time in my family, to say the least. Rich people have problems too, right? And so when those events happen, I didn't want the whole company to know. I didn't want people worrying. I could have used your prayers. But I didn't want to distract any attention from what we were doing over my goofy situation, right? So we kept it very quiet. Very few people knew, and then it leaked out a little bit. I'm telling you that because of this meeting. I used to take my time very seriously. I really take my time now, seriously. When you are 43 and you have those 2 events, you're not completely certain you're going to be around until 93. Probably not in my favor, right? Hope I do. Probably even shouldn't say that out loud, but promise you, I ain't wasting time. So if I'm going to go spend a whole day with you, and I'm flying to New York and all these other places I'm doing these meetings, that's like yesterday, I really wanted to prepare for that talk. I don't want to waste your time or mine. I'm not doing anything that wastes my time, because my time may not be as much as yours. Hopefully it's longer, but it may not be. And so that meeting, I'm bringing my A game. I promise you, you're going to learn some stuff that day that's going to help you build your business, but you got to earn the time to be in there. Are you all with that? Say yes. To be in there. I want to give a distinction to you real quick, and then I'm going to get out of your way, but I want to share something with you that I'm writing about right now that I think is pretty profound, and it's subtle, but I want to give this to you. I just bought by the way, I'm not selling this to sell you the dream, but I kind of am. I just bought a Rolls Royce Ghost. You know what Charlier is? Dan Charlier? Okay. Nauseating amount of dream selling this guy does on Facebook, evidently, right? I don't know if you know this. I mean, it's like nauseating. I tell him that all the time. Like, dude, we got it. All right, we got it. You're having fun. I'm not on Facebook, but my wife's constantly showing me stuff he's doing. Well, about 4 months ago, he's on some Rolls Royce trip where he's test driving them. So my heart doctor and I are talking the next day. I go, "That's this car my buddy was driving up for." He says, "Oh, my buddy owns the Rolls Royce dealership in Rancho Mirage." I said, "You kidding me? Have him call me." I should not have said that because the guy called me. So I go in there and end up dropping, they're $330 grand for a stupid car, right? They're pretty nice though. Pretty nice. But by the way, the guy just handed me the keys. I'm like, "Hey, done deal." You think he had to close me? He had to close me. I don't care how good your system is. You can put me on an escalator with a butt massage all the way into the car. You still got to convince me to drop $330. Don't give me escalator. Right? So he gives me a butt massage. I've never said those 2 sentences back in life. Those 2 words. That's not a bad thing to get. That's never happened. So anyway, he had to close me, but I bought this car, right? It made a distinction to me, and I'm writing about it right now. What's the difference between successful people and rich people and not successful or not wealthy people? And I got it, because I heard my dad say this to my mom just the other day, and I've heard my dad say this probably 1,000 times. How many of you ever had a parent say to you, "We can't afford it"? You ever had a parent, raise your hands if that's everybody your parents met. We can't afford it. I remember as a kid, "Dad, I want this bike for Christmas." "We can't afford that one. You can get this one." Or you can't get one at all. "Dad, can we go on vacation?" "We can't afford it. It's too expensive." "Dad, I want to go on this trip with my friends to Disneyland." "Well, how much is it?" "It's $200. Too expensive. Can't afford it." My dad said that over and over and over again. And that's how poor people and also unsuccessful people think. They're constantly negotiating price. Wealthy people negotiate worth. Big difference. Write it down. Price versus worth. See, you're constantly in your mind. Let me tell you what you're doing. You're negotiating the price of this. What's it going to cost you? What's it going to cost me? Well, what are my friends going to think? Well, what if people don't sign up? Well, what if I come full time and I lose this? Or what if I run out of money? Or what if even if I get people and I don't know what to do with them? And what are they going to think of me? And what about this? And what if I don't pay my bills? And what? many meetings are. How much of this? It's all about cost and price. Just so you know, you were talking to someone losing when they say that. Don't judge them, but they're losing. Wealthy people, successful, but I never think about what something costs. If I'm going to do something, I think about whether it's worth it. I already know it's going to be expensive. I have a buddy named Sheldon Surrey, he's a hockey player. He's getting ready to retire. Sheldon asked me the other day, he says, hey, I'm getting ready to retire. I got about X amount of money. So I said, Sheldon, however much money you think you need to retire, you need about 40% more. Let me give you some news. This is going to be really difficult. It's not all pop gum and rainbows here. All bubble gum and rainbows. It's really difficult to do something great in your life. It's very difficult. In fact, as difficult as you think this is going to be, it's going to be harder. So just get over it. There's going to be a monster price to pay in your own way. Did you hear me? You're going to pay prices here you never even envisioned it. You're going to. You glad I told you? Okay, you're going to pay, you're going to pay a monster price. Stop negotiating it. You need to decide whether it's worth it. Expect it to be 330 grand and decide whether it's worth it. I didn't buy that car because I thought I got a good price. I bought it because it was worth it. I went and recruited 72 people in 1997 personally, not because of what the price was, because it was worth it to pay the price. Amen? You've got to start deciding things are worth it when you do it. Negotiating its worth and its value, not always negotiating price. Let me give you something. It's always going to be too expensive. You're never going to get around walking across to call that buddy of yours you know you should be calling this week. How uncomfortable it makes you is always going to be too expensive to you if you're negotiating the price. But if you ask yourself whether it's worth it to you or him, you probably make a call. Worth is there's a subtle veil between success and failure, and it's the difference between negotiating price and worth. You got me? Let me tell you one more thing. The price you'll pay not to do this is infinitely greater than the price you'll pay to do it. That's the good news. The price you're paying not to do it is tremendous. The price you're paying not to do it, let's just be real. Me and you, brother to brother, brother to sister, okay? The price you pay not to do it, another thing you flunked out of. Another thing you told people you were probably going to do and get associated with, you no longer are. Another thing you quit. Another notch in your belt. Another shovel of sand on your grave. The things you didn't make. Another excuse you make. Another story you tell. Another bullshit idea you come up with you didn't deliver on. Another hit to your ego, another hit to your identity, another hit, another hit, another hit, another thing your kids see you not make happen, another thing your spouse sees you not do. That price is huge. Never mind where